Welcome back. This afternoon, President Trump is in Saudi Arabia announcing the U.S. will lift sanctions on Syria. The sanctions were put in place during the now fallen Assad regime. Trump says lifting the sanctions will give that country at least a chance at greatness. This three-nation visit to the Middle East is meant to tackle multiple crises and conflicts across that region. The president also talking about wanting Saudi investments in the United States. But beyond business, we also expect that the president and the crown prince and officials there will talk about regional issues. A check now on Wall Street as the markets react to a new inflation report showing prices grew at their slowest pace since 2021. Well, prices are slowing down. There's also a lot of uncertainty among Americans over the back and forth tariff fights between the U.S. and, of course, other countries. That slowdown will also not likely cause the Federal Reserve to lower the federal interest rate. An analyst with Goldman Sachs says the tariff effects on prices will probably show up over the next few months. In California, a court hearing today will look into the sentences of Eric and Lyle Menendez and possibly how those sentences could be changed. NBC's Jay Gray is in Van Nuys, California with the latest.
Okay, let's break down what we expect over the next couple of days here and how all of this plays into a possible release for Eric and Lyle Menendez. Now, the brothers currently serving life sentences for the 1989 murders of their parents. The issue at the core of this two-day hearing is whether they have been rehabilitated during their time in prison. Their lead attorney, Mark Garagos, will call 7 family members, volunteers, and experts as witnesses, outlining their remorse, rehabilitation, and positive work they've done behind bars.
The amount of introspection that they've done in the last 30 days is more than most people have done in the last 30 years. And there's a wisdom, there's a rehabilitation, there's a peace.
Now, prosecutors are expected to reference a comprehensive risk assessment ordered by California Governor Gavin Newsom, which reportedly indicates Lyle Menendez has narcissistic tendencies, while Eric can be easily influenced by others. The report apparently also outlines multiple prison rules violations by the brothers. If the court recommends resentencing, the parole board would then determine if they should be released. Governor Newsom also considering clemency in this case. On June 13th, both Eric and Lyle Menendez will independently have their final hearing on that clemency, and a report will be submitted for Governor Newsom, who will determine if they should be released. That's the latest right now from the courthouse. I'm Jay Gray, NBC News.
President Trump right now trying to crack down on prescription drug prices. He signed an executive order aiming to cut the cost of the drugs. The White House says the action will force other countries that have, quote, unreasonable practices that jack up prices to play ball. It is not the first time Trump has tried to step in, so Ken Erdahl is looking at the chances of having it happen this time around.
Here is the bill. Bobby, come on up.
With the stroke of his pen this morning, President Trump put the pharmaceutical industry on the clock, giving drug makers 30 days to lower prices before imposing something called most favored nations drug pricing.
The principle is simple. Whatever the lowest price paid for a drug in other developed countries, that is the price that Americans will pay.
A considerable difference in pricing.
Nicole Smith Holt is no stranger to the cost differences between countries. Her son Alex Smith died in 2017 after attempting to ration his insulin due to the cost in the U.S.
Calling it Caravan to Canada.
And in 2019, Cara Levin followed her on a caravan to Canada with type 1 diabetics who showed us the difference firsthand.
This bottle on my left that I just bought in Canada is $30. This one on my right in the U.S. on my high deductible insurance plan cost me $300.
The trips helped sway support for Minnesota's Alex Smith Insulin Affordability Act in 2021. And this year, a new state price cap law on an expanded number of medications and medical supplies took effect. Which brings us back to today.
I'm going to hold out hope.
Nicole hesitates because she's worried it will take a lot more than the president's pen.
Knowing that it's an executive order, the first thing that comes to my mind is it's not going to happen. It's going to be blocked.
That's what happened with a similar order during Trump's first term, which was later blocked by a court order. But she's hoping this time is different.
It doesn't matter if it's, which side of the aisle it's coming from. I get excited because it's a huge problem. The cost of prescription drug pricing, it's costing people their lives. And like Alec, people are dying. They're rationing their medication because they can't afford it.
I want to applaud any effort to disrupt the status quo because it's not working for patients and it's not working for premium payers.
State health economist Stefan Gildemeister says that's clear after 5 years of tracking rising drug prices in our state. And he says the president's order, which calls for a mechanism for Americans to buy their drugs directly from manufacturers, could be a key after what he calls rampant consolidation among middlemen known as pharmacy benefit managers.
Their affiliation with pharmacies, particularly specialty pharmacies, has generated a powerful incentive to print money for them. And they have the power to direct business to themselves that seems quite un-American.
Drug makers repeated a common argument that lowering prices to match other countries would mean less innovation, available treatments, and investment in America. But they also praised the president's focus on forcing other countries to pay their fair share. Well, new today, a massive concert benefiting farmers all across the country is coming to Minneapolis. Farm Aid just announced it will kick off its 40th year at Huntington Bank Stadium this September. Headliners include Willie Nelson, Neil Young, John Mellencamp, Dave Matthews, and Margot Price, as well as Duluth legends Trampled by Turtles. The show is September 20th. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Tickets will cost anywhere from $100 to nearly $400. Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.